Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from Monte Carlo. We are here, it's Monaco, and it's the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. As you can see, the track already busy with drivers. It's sensational, stunning conditions here at Monaco, of course. And we're looking forward to a wonderful qualifying session, of course, here at the FIA Formula Regional by Alpine. As you can see from the little graphic below, it is round 3 here at Monaco. After 2 sensational rounds at Italy with both Monza and Imola that we've already visited, we are now here at Monaco. And never a better place to host racing, of course. It's been certainly a circuit hosting racing since 1929. And of course, it's 3.337 kilometre circuit, famed for its very, very close walls, and at the same time, the action to go with it as well. Coming into this event, of course, Beganovic, he's the story at the moment, currently leading the championship on 86 points for Prema Racing, who are enjoying 2 drivers up at the top end of the standings, with Paul Aaron, his teammate, just in behind. And then, of course, you've got Gabriele Mini, of course, who took his first win of the season last time out. And he has major ambitions, of course, to go again here today. Gabriele Bortoletto did say himself that he can't wait to race at Monaco. And he himself cites it as the biggest race of the year and on this calendar here at the Formula Regional European Championship. And we'll look forward to seeing how he takes to it, of course. But as we said earlier, Gabriele Mini, he top practice in the timing listings, with Kaz Havercourt in behind him for a Van Amersfoort as well, second fastest by 0.6 of a second away from Gabriele Mini, with Laurens Van Hoopen for ERT in P3 as well. So ART coming into this one with full confidence, I am sure, after that very, very successful practice stint. Of course, Gabriele Mini will be looking to try and put the cherry on the cake by taking a good qualifying position heading into tomorrow's race. And as you well know, if you've been watching and following the series, you will be very much aware that we will be having 2 different sessions to kick things off. 2 groups of drivers getting away first. Of course, we'll have Group A and, of course, Group B. Each of them will have 15 minutes of sessions, and the fastest group will then qualify on the inside line of the grid. And then, of course, these will swap over for the second race heading out on Sunday. But there you see now, car number 42 belonging to Laurens Van Hoopen, who he himself be looking to perform heading into this event today. Made up of this Group A listing or classification of drivers. As he now makes his way around La Rascasse in towards Anthony Nogues. And they'll be making his way down the long stretch, of course. 26 minutes, as you can see on the top left-hand graphic. That is the current timing screens. The current man on top is Hadrian David, nestling his initial lap on the board. Of course, we will be seeing those times come cascading downwards as we get into the nitty-gritty of the session. And as the track warms up, we will be seeing more and more representative lap times, of course, folks. Just to say, my name is, of course, George Morgan. I am subbing in today for Chris McCarthy, your usual commentator, who is working at the Monaco track today for the Porsche Championship, as we get some live pictures there rolling over the curbs. Car number 26. And that is, of course, Hadrian David, who he himself will be looking forward to, hopefully, a prosperous day or a prosperous weekend. Of course, coming into this one, they'll be looking to certainly follow up the previous exploits of R-Race GP, who, of course, came away with 2 wins last season with Isaac Hadjar and Zane Maloney. Of course, Isaac Hadjar picking up the win in Race 1 last year, and Race 2 going to Zane Maloney. So R-Race, watch out for them, folks. They are going to be looking to take the first place prize here this weekend, and we'll have to see whether they can pull it off. It's going to be interesting, to say the least, as we now watch them make their way through this very fast left-hander. It's a very special track, Monaco. Of course, the glitz and glam that we see year on year. The spectators love it. We all love it. The drivers love it too. All of them looking forward to seeing what they can do around a track such as this, as now we watch Laurens Van Hoopen make his way around the final couple of bends, coming through Anthony Nogues now out of turn 19, and he'll head down the long stretch now to once again register a time, taking that inside line, and currently sat in P3, a 136.486 for Laurens Van Hoopen. Of course, in his rookie season here in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, No doubt looking to impress against some of the more seasoned competitors here in this order. Just to run through the group for you folks. Group A, we've got Paul Aron and Michael Belov, Kaz Havercourt, Hadrian David, Lorenzo Fluxer, as well as Joshua Dirksen, Matteo Capietto, as well as Joshua Dufek, Lawrence Van Hoopen, who of course we've been watching on our screens, Noel Leon, as well as Pietro Deli Guanti, as well as Nicolas Baptiste, Esteban Masson, as well as Delano Van't Hoff, Santiago Ramos with Puato Viznicki, and Pietro Armani and Hamda Al-Kwabasi. They're going to make up on those. There's Paul Aron now, and that's suspension damage on the front left. So big drama already in a virtual safety car from the get-go. Oh dear, not the start he would have wanted for sure, and that's going to firmly place his car out of qualifying at this point. And certainly not the way to get qualifying out and running. Here's, as we take a look at the replay, not the ideal start for Paul Aron. Oh my word. That was out of nowhere, just sort of ghosted. You know, literally the suspension breaking on the front left side. And unfortunately, they will not be running that car anytime soon. And a very frustrated Paul Aron takes off his gloves, steps away from the car and heading down into that section. Of course, it's very tricky heading down in towards Mirabeau, as we now see live shots of the car being lifted by the crane. Oh dearie me, not a great sign for Prema, who they themselves have enjoyed a cracking start to the season. Paul Aron, of course, who's currently second in the drivers' standings. And now, obviously, these drivers are going to be spending their time warming up the tyres because, of course, they'll need to get their best times up and running. Green flags being waved at Beau Rivage as they now make their way down through towards the next left. And they'll be making their way down through this very turbulent circuit, down through towards where the Grand Hotel hairpin will be, heading out of Casino, down in towards Mirabeau. And as you're looking on your screens, that is, of course, Hadrian David making his way around this next left. As I said earlier on, R-Race GP with a very sound record here at Monaco. And, of course, Hadrian David himself topping the list so far with just over 20 minutes remaining here in qualifying. Of course, for this group, they will, of course, be commencing this session, coming through the tunnel section now, down through towards what will be the Nouvelle chicane. This is at turns 10 and 11. You've got to watch the Armco barrier, the steel barrier on the left-hand side. You can easily catch you off guard, but Hadrian David very well equipped to certainly succeed in the test that is that particular corner. Heading through that next left now. At Tabac, now in towards Virage Louis Chiron. And once again, the scenes of where we saw, of course, Charles Leclerc lose it last year in Formula One, as we're now watching Hadrian David make his way through the final two corners at Rascasse and Anthony Nogues. And he'll make his way down the long stretch. Fastest overall, a 1:33.979 at the moment, Hadrian David, as he now heads towards the line. And makes his way through turn one, 1.2 seconds clear of Fluxer, who is in second place, Van Hoopen in third. So a wonderful start for Hadrian David. So now we're watching more and more cars filter their way into the final couple of bends. This man, no less than Mika Belov, making his way down the straight now, and he'll be crossing the line very, very shortly. Currently in P5, as we now see, from what we can see now, Belov does go fastest now, 1:32.607, just over 2/10 quicker than that of what looks to be as the timing screen starts to update in front of you, folks. We've got many more coming through. Havercourt moves his way up into second fastest, just under 2/10 behind Belov. Capietto moves into sixth place as well, with Ramos in ninth and Viznicki as well in seventh place. So wonderful start for Belov, with Havercourt in third. Dirksen, who's currently, well, he's currently sat in third place as well. So we've got lots of activity, certainly out on track. Armani now in 16th as well. Oh, a bit of a twitch there as we watch the cars filter their way through. And they make their way. Purple sector 2 for Hadrian David. And he'll make his way down through sector 3 now proper. No doubt looking to go quicker again. And he does go faster again, 1:31.610. Very nearly a second clear of Belov. Fluxer moves into third place. Goes third fastest with a 32.607 or 32.611, as now we see Van Hoopen go into second fastest as well, just under 0.3 of a second slower than Hadrian David. And Belov now also looking to try and go quicker too. And Belov, he himself green in the first two sectors. As now we see Dirksen move up into third place. Belov goes second fastest, setting a purple sector 3. God, they're all flying now. Leon into fifth now as well. So wonderful start here for Hadrian David. Havercourt back up into third place, representing Van Amersfoort, of course. And they'll be looking for certainly another glittering race themselves. Masson has moved into 12th fastest. Ramos up to 8th as well. Wisnicki up into P10. Baptiste, a lot of jumbling around in the timing screens. So now we witness Delano Van Hoff move his way through the circuit. Oh, nice and pacey out of the tunnel section. Just losing the car slightly there by Lawrence Van Hoopen, who now makes his way down out of the Nouvelle chicane, down through towards Tabac. And just getting himself ease of access heading into that next chicane at the Barrage Louis Chiron. And now he'll make his way up towards Rascasse. Lost a bit of time in sector 2, but makes his way around the final two corners as well, heading through La Rascasse and Anthony Nogues. So where will this position? Van Hoopen, of course, needs to do a little bit in the third sector in order to nestle an improvement on his time as he does come up towards the line, and that is second fastest, a 1:31.743, and he did pull together a very good third sector. Dirksen pulling together a purple sector as well, doing extremely well. Belov, he himself went purple in sector 1 as well as he makes his way up towards the line. Oh, wow, already now Dirksen goes first fastest. Incredible himself now as Belov goes into second fastest with a purple third sector. Incredible scenes here. Just under 0.03 of a second. Havercourt goes into P1 now. Incredible scenes here. A 1:31.042 the time to beat. Just under 4.5 tenths faster than that of Dirksen in P2. As Masson goes into 8th as well. What an incredible lap. Oh, we've just seen a replay here now of the car in, that was Pietro Delaguante. God, nice drift shot there. But he certainly wouldn't want that at Monaco. Certainly heading over some of these rumble strips and the actual sausage curbs themselves. They can cause so many problems. One small mistake and you can be found into the wall. And RP Motorsport, I bet, would be grimacing from their garage watching that one. As now we're watching, once again, shots from the Nouvelle chicane this time. And it's going to be this man, Joshua Dirksen, currently sat in second place. And he's got a little bit of time to find on Havercourt. He's 7/10 slower at this moment in time. Fluxer is currently in 7th place. In the pits now for Van Hoopen. But no one can touch Havercourt at the moment. Now coming into the pit lane. See now more cars starting to make their way down the long straight. Well, certainly this one indeed will make its way across the line in towards turn 1. That's Belov now into second. And has managed to improve his time now. Just over 0.4 of a second away from Havercourt in P1. Managed to marshal together Michael Belov, a purple sector 1, as you can see in the graphic below. But second place is all he can muster at this moment in time. So Havercourt at this moment in time looks comfortable in P1. Masson up into 6th place with his best lap of a 1:31.766. Cappietto moves up into 11th place as well, with Wisnicki now up into 12th himself. Amazing shots here of Monaco. Already we've seen some exciting moments, also some sad moments as well. Certainly Prema left disappointed with Paul Aaron going out earlier on, and there you can see more checks of the car, this time on Dirksen's car, Joshua Dirksen for Arden. And pit crew working ever so hard to get the tyres just changed up. But wonderful scene certainly for the spectators here for the Formula One weekend. What an amazing moment, certainly for a lot of these drivers to partake in a race at Monaco. Lots of them would have been waiting since the very start of the season for this one. As we now watch them make their way through. There's Kaz Havercourt. An absolutely glittering performance in qualifying. A 1:31.042 places him as the fastest driver in the session. here today. A wonderful performance, certainly in the Group A category. And I'm sure Van Amersfoort will be celebrating as well, because it's the first appearance of him on the top step at this moment in time. So wonderful result. Flux into second place as well. He went second fastest with a just over 3.5 tenths of a second, just under 4 tenths away from Havercourt, and was actually, as you can see down below there, you can see the time difference between the two. And actually lost most of his time in sector 2 against Havercourt. As there we see now car number 16, and that is belonging to none other than Lorenzo Fluxer, who's currently our man in second place. The gap between him and Havercourt currently stands just under 4 tenths of a second, and he now dives into the pit lane. But a remarkable qualifying session. Kaz Havercourt taking the early advantage and finds himself on top. Adrian David also out on outlaps as well, with Van Hoopen there in 6. Already Monaco getting off to a flyer. Certainly a very busy pit lane here. Obviously we've got quite a lot of cars here in this championship. None other than 37 drivers make up our current standings. As we now watch the scenes here heading around Saint-Devote, now up through Beau Rivage. There's Adrian David with a half a second gap to the leader, Kaz Havercourt, who has been enjoying now P1 at this moment in time for quite a long period. Adrian David will be looking to usurp him, without laps now coming from Belov, who's currently sat in 3rd place. Wouldn't count out Dirksen either, currently in 4th. Adrian David, who now sets a green sector 1. The track could be nice and quiet, certainly for drivers to make their way out now, many of them out on outlaps. Adrian David, the man in our picture, we're currently now watching make his way through the tunnel section, heading out of turn 9, down through towards now at turn 10 at the Nouvelle chicane. And you'll certainly have some time to make up, that's for sure. Spearheads the car right through this next section, taking great care over the curbs. He'll now make his way down through towards the fast left-hander at Tabac. And next up is the treacherous Virage Louis Chiron. Purple sector 2 for Adrian David, and just look at the time gap, 0.02 of a second away from Havercourt at this moment in time. So he's absolutely flying. A fastest sector 2 for Adrian David. And as he makes his way through now, Anthony Noakes, he'll be looking to try and tip the scale in his favor here as he comes up towards the line. What's it going to be for Adrian David? This looks very promising indeed. Does he top the screens here? Not quite. Just missed out by 1/10 of a second away from Havercourt. Up at the top end, he was absolutely flying earlier on, and if this doesn't show enough how close these guys get to the barriers, Adrian David really trying to work hard to knock Havercourt off his top spot. Currently sat in P1, but a great effort for the R-Race GP driver, who they themselves looking to follow up, as we said earlier on, from great successes of last season. Adrian David not quite able to tip the scale into his favour at the top end, but there's still plenty of other drivers who'll be looking to do just that. And already Van Hoopen setting a fastest sector 1 as they now come out of Portier and in towards the tunnel section at turn 9. And a flick of the rear there as well from Van Hoopen, who went purple in sector 1, as we said already. Now, can he go purple in sector 2 as well? That's the big story as he makes his way through the fast Tabac corner. Oh, a little bit of a twitch in the rear. Did lose a bit of time in sector 2 as he now heads through the next series of chicanes, the Virage Louis Chiron as well, heading out of turns 10, 11, and 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 now out of Raskas in towards Anthony Noakes at turn 19. Where can Van Hoopen put himself here on this flying lap? Great opportunity for himself now. Can he go higher than Adrian David? No, it's a 31.489 for Lawrence Van Hoopen. Could not find any improvements in sector 2 or 3 despite a wonderful visit in sector 1. And still the gap between Adrian David and Havercourt stagnates at 1/10 of a second. Very minimal fractional gaps. Certainly here in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And you can see the cars there waiting to go out, and there's the one of the Van Amersfoort representatives. Obviously a smile there as they're watching their man currently top of the listings. We're into the final 10 minutes of this session, and great opportunity, certainly for these drivers to make a name for themselves at the historic circuit of Monaco. As we said before, 3.337 kilometers, 2.074 miles, 19 corners. A baptism of fire for many of these drivers, as now we're watching some of the cars just warming the tyres up aggressively, getting themselves ready for their next runs. Got Deli Guante out on a out lap as well. And to now make their way up the Beau Rivage section of the track. Kaz Havercourt, who we're currently watching in our picture, the man who's currently sat in our pole position, provisional pole position, obviously due to the rulings, but it comes into the races because we've got two groups. The fastest group will be positioned on one side, and you'll have the other group then on the other side of the track. And just to say, Hadrian David is really stringing together some really positive times now, and he's gone fastest in purple sector 1 and 2. Can he list himself on the top billing? He does usurp Havercourt, and by well over half a second as well. Within 6/10, Hadrian David. 2 purple sectors in 1 and 2, with a green sector 3 as well to boot. A wonderful visit for Hadrian David, and that is going to put the pressure now on Kaz Havercourt. Wonderful lap from Hadrian David. A 30.475 is the time to beat now, and the pressure is on. So it's up to Havercourt now to see whether he can respond, but already we've seen Leon now move up into P2, so the time's coming in thick and fast. The drivers leaving it now to the last minute in order to bring in their fast laps, and Hadrian David has gone purple again in sector 1. He's absolutely flying, heading through the tunnel section at turn 9. And he'll be looking to do the same again, as we're now watching on our screens. Lawrence Van Hoopen, of course, who's also trying to certainly make a little bit of an impact here in qualifying, makes his way through the next chicane. Now leading up towards what will be Rascasse at turn 18. Turn 19 is next. Hadrian David has just lost the purple sector 1 at this point in time, as now we watch Van Hoopen make his way down the straight. Comes up towards the line. Where can he position himself in the timing order? No improvement in terms of position, or 31.054 is what he registered, but incredible moment, that's for sure. Leon, though, there's a car off. Car number 68, and that is Santiago Ramos. So yellow flags being waved. And that is scenes, like I said earlier on, where Charles Leclerc, of course, made his error and actually ended his qualifying session last year. And because now we've got a virtual safety car, that will mean that the lap times at this point will not be registered onto the classification, certainly those that are being done under yellow flag conditions. Well, the marshals will now work hard to clear the circuit, and that will effectively take a massive chunk out of this particular session. So this would be excellent news for Hadrian David to keep hold of this particular P1 spot. What a visit for our Race GP. A clutch, could be a clutch finale of sorts now, as we're now into the final 6 minutes of the session. And with the VSC out, it's certainly going to take some time for the marshals to clear that car out the way. But good to see the driver is all okay as well. But we've seen it time and time and again, that particular chicane, if you run over the particular sausage curb, it can send you into the barrier, and obviously he's going to be less than impressed, Ramos. Not an ideal situation to be in. Never nice to lose a car. We saw Paul Aron earlier on as well. As we now take a view at the car of Santiago Ramos. Oh, he wasn't even over the curbs. It was just before. I think it was just in case he lost traction. The rear end just went away from him slightly, and it sent him over the sausage curb. And at that point, there was just no chance for Ramos to correct the issue. Of course, lost the car before the actual sausage curb, and it was just insult to injury at that point, heading into the barrier. And that will be the end of his qualifying session, that's for sure. But that car now being lifted off the circuit, and will be safely positioned off track as we're now watching the cars make their way. We will have time left here in this session to perhaps see a bit of a clutch finale from one of these drivers. What a wonderful and fascinating end to qualifying this will be. Hadrian David still on top and fastest with a 30.475. That is our current P1 time. And RHGP will be hoping that he can bring this home. Good to see that Ramos is looking okay. And walking away from the incident, that's always a scene we like to see. As now we watch Hadrian David head through this next left-hander out of Massenet into Casino. And he'll make the descent now down towards the Mirabeau corner, where he'll hug the inside line. And then in towards the Grand Hotel hairpin. As you can see, a lot of steering action there. Of course, you're going near enough full lock around that very tricky hairpin. And now heading down through the Portier section of the circuit. Now out in towards the tunnel section, leading towards turn 9. Hadrian David, who's not actually improved in his first sector. He'll be looking to get a cycle lap in, perhaps just before he registers yet another fast one. But certainly, he could correct it all heading in towards Sector 2, coming out of the chicane now. At the Nouvelle chicane, down through towards Tabac corner. And he'll then send it through the Virage Louis Chiron. He has got purple in Sector 2 and is improving, in fact. So as he now makes his way into the next chicane, before he now reaches Rascasse. What we can tell you is Deliguante has just improved as well. And a fastest Sector 2 from Dirksen too, as Hadrian David comes up towards the line. Lawrence Van Hoopen goes into third fastest. Hadrian David does improve. He sets a 30.293 with just over 2.5 minutes remaining in the session. So just to give you a rundown, is Hadrian David in P1, Dirksen in P2, Leon in P3, and already now we've seen another change up at the top end as well as Dirksen, as we have confirmation into second place and half a tenth away from Hadrian David as well. Incredible stuff. There's Noel Leon from Mexico, currently sat in third place, half a second away from P1 Hadrian David. And there's Belov as well, who of course we saw earlier on up at the top end as well. And Belov has gone fastest this time, a 30.018, a dramatic finale here in qualifying. Obviously, since the incident of Santiago Ramos, we have now seen a big swing up at the top end with Belov now on top order. Havercourt comes back as well and goes second fastest. We've also got some movements as well with Dufek moving into seventh fastest, Capietto moving into eighth as well. More and more cars starting to find their way across the line. Deliguante, who went purple in Sector 1, he's going to look to try and go fastest in Sector 3. He goes fifth fastest at this point, a 30 point what looks to be a 30.7 is what he's listed, but Hadrian David already finding improvements in the second sector, goes fastest of all at that point in the track. He comes across the line, the second fastest is all he can find, a 30.033, and just over, should we say, 100th of a second from Belov, who's currently on top orders. Havercourt in fourth, who's just been, well, now in fourth because Dirksen is now back up third fastest as well. And that is just above a tenth of a second slower than Belov, who's in first place. Incredible moment here, and Belov once again showing improvements here in Sector 1 and 2. Can he once again enlist an improvement in Sector 3? Havercourt has gone fastest of all in Sector 1, as we just saw scenes there of Charles Leclerc, as we're just witnessing a car there going slowly heading out into the final, well, the latter stage of the final sectors. Here's Havercourt now making his way through the final section of the track. He's going to look to try and enlist an improvement on his lap time as well. Remember, he was the fastest of all earlier on in qualifying. Can he usurp Belov and reclaim his top order spot as he makes his way across the line? Isn't it an improvement? It certainly is. The sole man in the 29s. Havercourt, Kaz Havercourt, a 129.988, lands him on top order, ahead of Belov in second place. Hadrian David now in third, and that's the checkered flag, folks, as Masson goes seventh fastest. The cars will now be making their way across the line to finalise their final runs, as now Hadrian David, who went purple in Sector 2, can he go ahead of Havercourt at the last ditch stages, as we now see Van Hooper go fourth fastest. Hadrian David goes fastest now into a 129.802, and there's the response from the R-Race GP pit crew, or the paddock crew there for the R-Race team, a 29.802, and goes quicker by just under 0.2 of a second. A magic moment as we just see a little bit of a loss of the rear end there. And that's Michael Belov in the last-ditch stages, and no doubt he was looking to try and claim his spot back at the top end. Remember, he was fastest at one point as well, but still holds on to that third place. But Hadrian David, take a bow. What a clutch. I did say we'd get a clutch finale. We certainly got that. Hadrian David, the Frenchman, on top order. Just look at what it means to them, folks. They love the circuit of Monaco. Came here last season with 2 wins across the board, of course, Isaac Hadjar and Zayn Melody, and now Hadrian David kicking them off in the perfect way possible with a 29.802 and claims his spot up on top orders. Amazing stuff indeed. Amazing qualifying session to get things underway here at Monte Carlo. Hadrian David with Havercourt in second place. You've got to give credit to Kaz Havercourt. He gave it everything. You see a car stopped in the tunnel at turn 9. And it's a good thing it's right on the inside, because the cars will obviously be taking the outside line heading through that point. So at least it's relatively clear and out the way. Obviously the stewards will be working hard to try and move it, ready for the next group of drivers to make their way out. Of course, this is the Group A listing that we've just been watching. And is now watching. This is Delano Van Hoff making his way through. Oh, clipping the barriers. The car just seemed to lose the rear end again through that very fast to back corner. But rubbing the tyres against the steel barriers. But Hadrian David is going to be absolutely jubilant with that huge effort coming into this one. Of course, taking top orders here in qualifying in Group A. Of course, their starting position on the grid will be determined by what Group B does as well in the next runs. Of course, the fastest group will indeed start on that inside part of the track, heading up towards Saint-Devote, and then it'll rotate then for the second race on Sunday. 2 races we will be bringing you across the weekend. Of course, Saturday, as in tomorrow, we'll be bringing you the first event, and then of course the second one will be with you on the Sunday. But what a way to kick things off, folks. Incredible. I'd imagine Van Amersfoort will be delighted with the performance of Kaz Havercourt, who came into this weekend 6th in the drivers' standings. And no doubt he'll have big points on his mind as we head into the race tomorrow. But there is Hadrian David, and indeed the celebration's already underway at the R-Race team. They will be absolutely jubilant with their performance. And not forgetting, they've got Gabriel Bortoletto, the current man in 7th place in the standings, looking to perhaps do exactly what Hadrian David has just done when we head into the next stint of drivers going out for Group B. As we've now got live pictures of Havercourt making his way out of his car and also celebrating with his team. He can be pleased with his run in qualifying. P2 in the classifications for his group. And there you have it. P1 there, Hadrian David, and you can see what it means to him as well. Absolutely delighted. It's what you do in these stints that sets the tone for the weekend, and you can fully imagine that he's absolutely thrilled. And we're going to take a look now at the results here of this Group A section of qualifying. Hadrian David in first place with Kaz Havercourt in second. Michael Belov for MP Motorsport in third place with Lawrence Van Hoopen in fourth. Noel Leon in fifth with Joshua Dirksen in sixth place. Matteo Capieto in seventh place for Monolight Racing. Esteban Moisson in eighth place for FA Racing with Pietro Deli Guante in ninth, as well as Joshua Dufek in 10th. Lorenzo Fluxer in 11th with Puato Wisnicki in 12th. Delano Van Hoff in 13th with Nicolas Baptiste in 14th. Pietro Armani in 15th. Santiago Ramos, unfortunately losing the car earlier on, finished where he did. And naturally, Paul Aron would have been upset too, because of course he was not able to set a representative lap time, of course crashing, losing the tyre at that point, at that very strange moment where the suspension just seemed to break on the front left tyre. But no doubt as to who the winner is. It is Hadrian David in this occasion. Well, captures P1 at this point in qualifying with Kaz Havercourt in second. And both drivers will be thrilled with their performances, of course. Any moment now, we'll be watching the next group of drivers heading out onto the track. We will give you a rundown as to who those are, and that will, of course, determine as to who lays claim to the most favourable part of the track heading into race 1 tomorrow. But there's Hadrian David. Once again, the scenes of celebrations in the garage at our Race GP. And now we're going to be switching over, as I said before, to Group B. And Dino Beganovic, there he is, the current championship leader. 86 points to his name coming into the weekend. And he'll be looking to raise those as well, as we will very shortly be making our way back out onto the circuit here at Monaco. You can see the sun bearing down on all these drivers. Temperatures obviously ideal, I would say, certainly for racing. It will certainly aid the drivers in getting the tyres up to temperature. Of course, the actual tyres they're using softer than last year. Pirelli issuing new tyres for this season, and the softer compounds obviously allowing them to be quicker, allowing them to get up to temperature, but at the same time they do perish, and therefore it's going to rely on certainly very expert management from all of these guys, as we can see there, them getting ready for the start of this session. And there's the Van Amersfoort car. Of course, this one belonging to Levante Revez, who's currently getting ready to go out. And no doubt looking to follow in the footsteps of Kaz Haverfort in the previous session. As we can now see them all stacked up in the pit lane, ready to go out. Dino Beganovic, of course, topping the billing in the championship, as we've said, with his teammate Paul Aaron, who we unfortunately lost in that last session for Group A. The suspension arm broken in the initial stages. But it's going to be an interesting one, this one, because of course we have got Gabriele Mini as well, and including Bortoletto, who he himself stated this morning and yesterday, should I say, that he was very excited for the weekend. He cannot wait to race at Monaco. Gabriele Mini, of course, who came into this topping the practice timesheet, to be looking to do exactly the same again heading into qualifying. And who was behind him? It was Kaz Haverfort, who, of course, in our previous session claiming the second position in our first group that went out. And of course, Lawrence Van Hoopen, who finished in P3 in practice, would of course do well to get his position in the Group A listings. But Paul Aaron, who came into qualifying this weekend, was actually fastest of the Prema drivers, just beating his teammate and provisional championship leader Dino Beganovic by just under half a second. So Beganovic will be looking for a huge improvement, no doubt, heading out onto the track today. He'll be citing this as an important race, obviously, to increase his championship advantage, but you could certainly imagine that our Race GP will have other matters on their mind. They're going to be wanting to protect their position up at the top end of things, certainly following on a successful year last year. But certainly will be interesting to see who comes out on top. There is the Swede there, Dino Beganovic, getting ready, getting focused, ready to tackle this circuit of Monaco. Oh so testing, oh so tricky. These 19 corners have made heroes of many and punished many as well. But no doubt these young up-and-comers be looking to state their impressions, ready for a bright, bold future in single-seater or motorsport in general. And here you have it, folks, the picturesque live shots here, the glitz and glam of Monaco, the boats in the yard as well, the spectators across the grandstands enjoying their race weekend. Of course, we are here in support of Formula One as well. And it's wonderful to certainly be part of this fantastic race weekend. Sort of brings makes it extra special as we now see the flag go green, and qualifying is now underway for Group B, and leading them out certainly no less is Gabriele Bortoletto, very keen to stake his claim early on, of course, and will look to follow up his teammate Hadrian David's blissful performance in the first group's running here at Monaco, as they now make the almighty climb up Beau Rivage. and will very shortly be tackling the corners of Massenet and Casino as well. But this is a very key point for the drivers, of course, getting the cars prepared, ready for the first initial qualifying runs, making sure the tyres are up to temperature, make sure everything's in sync with the car and the track, so that they can unleash their fastest lap times. 30 minutes once again, this time for Group B. And they'll be looking to try and nestle themselves an ideal position on the circuit, of course. If you do have the inside line heading in towards Saint-Devote, of course, that will give you the idyllic run. Of course, it's very tricky for those on the outside of the track because it does get very, very tight leading up towards Saint-Devote. You hear the phrase time and time and again, no heroics into Saint-Devote, that's for sure. So I'd imagine we'll see lots of heroics from a lot of these drivers, that's for sure, putting everything on the line here at Monte Carlo as they make their way down through towards the next chicane at Nouvelle, at the Nouvelle chicane in towards to back the fast left-hander very, very shortly. And they'll make their way past the docks of Monaco, just getting their sights in on this wonderful circuit. No matter where you pan your camera here at Monaco, it is certainly a pleasure to look at as they now make their way in towards the next chicane. Out of the Virage Louis Chiron now into the next one before they then reach La Rascasse and Anthony Nogues. And they will then get their fast laps underway. But certainly a good opportunity here for Gabriele Bortoleto to certainly work off the team successes here at Monaco, to strike his own positive lap times on the board. And they will see it as an opportunity to get ahead of Prema on this occasion, because certainly, judging from practice, obviously can't take everything as gospel from practice, but at the same time, if it is, great opportunity again for our Race GP to get one over on the Prema team, who are currently sat at the top end of the championship with Beganovic in P1, Aron in P2. But watch out for ART as well with Gabriele Mini, who of course has been wonderful in practice in the start of this season. Of course, he actually went fastest of all in practice 2 in Italy at Imola, and also qualified up at the top end for Group A in qualifying 1. Qualifying 2, he did exactly the same as well in Group B, and he would go on then to win race 2 at Imola as well. So certainly a man with a lot of credentials when it comes to pace in both qualifying practice, well, in all 3, qualifying, practice and racing. And no doubt be looking to see him go quick again. He actually went fastest of all in qualifying 2 at Monza as well, did Gabriele Mini. So he will be, I'm sure, looking to try and do the same again. We heard his comments, as I said earlier on. And topping practice here at Monaco will certainly go a long way. Expect to see him at the top end. ART will no doubt be looking on with great expectations at this very early point of qualifying. As we now watch the cars make their way down the home straight once again, leading up towards Saint-Devote. And now the requisite times will be making their way through. As you can already see Bortoleto on top order with Beganovic in second place. Montoya, Sebastian Montoya, the Colombian, in third, with Boya in fourth as well. And Lina Bula there in sixth place. So we're all set now. 25, just over 25. We're within the 25 now minute mark. And Donegan now up into second place too. Of course, Keith Donegan, who's the man certainly spearheading operations at RP Motorsport. It's his new venture, and no doubt looking to lead from the front all the way from Ireland, representing here at Monaco. And what a weekend it will be for him as well if he can scoop up a positive result. As now we watch on as more and more cars make their way around. Here's the man himself, Gabriele Bortoleto, looking to follow up the superb work by Hadrian David in Group A. He'll now make his way through towards the final part of the circuit here at Monaco, through Anthony Nogues, and now down towards the long straight. And we've already seen a fastest sector 2 from Bortoleto. Barrichello has just stolen the purple sector 1. Bortoleto, that's a P1 time of a 32.295 to get things going. And as you would expect, purple sector 2 and 3. There's Rubens Barrichello watching on. As we're now getting a view here of Bortoleto's car, just licking the sausage curb as it makes its way through the next left. Montoya moves up into second. Barrichello up into third now, because more and more times are starting to fly through now. Zagazzetta coming through now into second place. And Tangabellu as well, making his way through, but no one can unseat at this moment in time Bortoletto, but it's still very much the early days here in qualifying. Here's Gabriele Mini, of course the man who was fastest of all in practice and already set to purple sector 1 for his troubles as well. So this is going to be a reasonably quick lap time for the early sections here at Monaco, or the early stages here in Group B qualifying here at Monaco. And Fonaroli now moves into second place, with Belinsky into 6th as well. Still purple sector 1 for Mini as he makes his way around tunnel section turn 9, and now down in towards the chicane at Nouvelle. And tell you what, big weekend for Gabriele Mini if he can pull this off. It's obviously important to follow up a good practice session. There's a car off as well, and that is Keith Donegan representing RP Motorsport, so not ideal for him either. Oh, a bit of a flick there again from Gabriele Mini, but controls the car very well, heading out of the chicane. And comes through the next right-hander out of Raskas in towards Anthony Noakes. And you'll have the long straight then towards the line. Boyer currently in first fastest now, but can Gabriele Mini usurp him in this very early stage? Does so, a 31, but already now Beganovic retakes that top spot there, goes ahead of Gabriele Mini, and that is just over a tenth of a second slower now, Gabriele Mini, than Beganovic. But as we have said, we've still got 22 minutes left within the 23rd minute. And the Swede, Beganovic, currently on top orders, with Gabriele Mini in second place. There's Sebastian Montoya, who we're currently watching on our pictures. Here's the replay. This is of Keith Donegan, I believe, heading through towards Saint-Devant, and there you can see the lockup. So it was just a lockup on that occasion, which you can see frequently. Obviously trying to go as fast as they can, making the most of some of these apexes here at Monaco. Obviously the drivers like to send it, and I think he just left it just slightly too late, locking up those brakes. And you'll have to get himself recomposed and ready to go again. The sun's still blazing down here at this wonderful street circuit. Historic is certainly the word here at Monaco. Tradition, a lot of single-seater traditions here at this track, and once again we're seeing the youth and the stars of tomorrow tackling this wonderful circuit. And tell you what, the spectators are treated to some wonderful moments as well, as we're watching Montoya make his way through, and he's going to look to go fastest again, no doubt. He's currently sat in 17th place on our screens here. Goes second fastest now with a 131.108. So a good time there for Sebastian Montoya, the Colombian, half a tenth down on Beganovic, who's currently leading the charts at this moment in time. Fonaroli is also looking to improve too. Of course, currently sat in 6th place. And Bortoletto has just gone fastest of all in sector 1 as well, so he's looking to try and nestle and improve lap time as well. As now we're watching some live scenes here. Oh, just rubbing the left-hand side. And that's certainly not something you want to be doing too much heading around the final corner out of Anthony Noakes. So now Tramnitz moves up into 7th fastest. More and more cars now making their way out. This is Gabriele Bortoletto for RACE GP. As we said before, Hadrian David topping the billing in Group A's qualifying session. Bortoletto, who's gone purple in Sector 1. He's had that ripped away from him though, but he's still improving in Sector 2. So Bortoletto, who's currently in 10th place, will be looking to try and raise his standing here in this classification, and does go fastest of all with a 30.870. But remember, we have seen times in the 29, so expect the top times to be around that part, as Boyer has now registered the fastest time of all, a 1:30.675 here in this session. Gabriele Mini just goes fastest as well, a 1:30.221. Beganovic moves up to 2nd fastest as well, with Montoya now 4th fastest, with Bortoletto down in 5th place. So we're seeing the times all getting jumbled up. Barrichello moves into 7th fastest too. Marie Boyer, who's now in 3rd place, the Spaniard, within half a second away from Gabriele Mini, who of course topping practice once again on top here in qualifying. A 30.2 is the time to beat. And Boyer has just gone fastest of all in Sector 1, so he's showing some rapid signs of improvement. Fornaroli moves into 6th place as well. As now we're seeing Belinsky move 3rd fastest as well with a 30.353. So time's starting to heat up here at Monaco to match the temperatures we got around this track, of course. Beganovic now up into 6.2, the Frenchman, just positioning his car behind Montoya's in the standings. Bortoletto now sitting in 7th. Boyer now showing improvements in Sector 2. He was fastest of all in Sector 1 as he now heads through the final sector of this track, around the final corner out of Rascasse. And Anthony Nogues up towards the line. Is this going to be an improvement from P4 for Boyer? It certainly will be. Not enough for P1, but enough for P2 for the Spaniard. And he went fastest of all in Sector 3, so Sector 2 proving to be the crunching point for Boyer on that lap. Gabriele Mini still owns the top level at this point. P1 here in qualifying for Gabriele Mini. And there's Boyer now heading through the chicane for the slow-mo action replay. Wonderful effort, certainly from him. Plenty more to come, though, with 18 minutes still to go. Heading around the Grand Hotel hairpin. And now out towards Portier. And he'll then make his move under the tunnel section, heading in towards turn 9. Oh, wowee! And that, without a shadow of a doubt, is car number 85 belonging to Bortoletto, who was really pushing it there. I tell you what, he did well to recover the car. Obviously cutting the chicane at that point at Nouvelle. He's going to have to once again recompose, readjust himself to get ready for another run. Here's the replay. Just a little twitchy. We've seen it a couple of times as well around Monaco, of course. Lose the rear end at your peril. And it's obviously these drivers have got to push everything to the limits if you want to succeed here at Monaco. You know, if you can string it together, a purple lap, the perfect lap, it certainly puts the pressure on the other drivers to perform, certainly with these very enclosed barriers that can claim many a car, as we've already seen in the Group A section in qualifying. But Gabriele Mini, no questions as to who's on top. He is currently on top billing. There's Bortoletto being wheeled into his position in the paddock. And he'll be getting ready for another run, no doubt. Of course, plenty of time for more runs. They'll look to change the tyres and get ready to send the cars out once again. The whole Prima team, they're ready to prep. But a wonderful performance so far from Gabriele Mini, following up from his euphoric run in practice. And he'll be looking to do the same again in qualifying. Of course, currently the time sits at a 1:30.221, but we know we can find the late 29s. So we will expect to see those heading in towards the final stages of qualifying, folks. This is just the precursor, should we say, to what we're still yet to experience here in the Group B section. But Gabriele Mini, I'm sure, will be pleased to get his first runs registered onto the top order. And as you can see from the graphic below, that is the fragment that separates Boyer and Mini for that first place spot. Of course, you would not be surprised to see Marie Boyer, the Spaniard from ART, look to try and usurp Gabriele Mini. But how about the likes of Beganovic as well? He himself will be looking to try and get to the top orders, of course. Dino Beganovic, who currently sits as our championship leader heading into the Monaco race weekend. He will not want to see Gabriele Mini on top for much longer. So it's going to lead to a very dramatic finale here in qualifying. Tell you what, one thing's for sure here at Monaco is that nothing is for sure. And that is why we love it so much. And already up at top orders, you can see that the gaps are thinner than a fly's eyelash right now. Of course, you've got Gabriele Mini. You've got Marie Boyer in second place. Dino Beganovic in third. Belinsky in fourth. Megatunev in fifth. Bernier in sixth, with Montoya in seventh. Barrichello in eighth. Bortoletto in ninth. Fornaroli in 10th. Zagazzetta in 11th. Tramnitz in 12th. Braschi in 13th, with Donegan in 14th, Noss in 15th, Tangavelu in 16th, Lina Bula in 17th, and Reves in 18th, with Han in 19th place. So that's your current running order, folks. And you can see there the car's getting ready to be prepped for yet another run. That is, of course, Levente Reves we're currently looking at. Just staying composed, ready for the Van Amersfoort car to make its way back out onto the track for the second half of this qualifying session. We're going to be witnessing certainly something special, I can imagine, from all of these drivers looking to strike an impression for their runs here at Monaco. This is the one they would have been waiting for heading into this weekend. Tangavelu, there he is, waiting to head out again. Some cars already out and about on track, looking to register their improved lap times. And this is when we'll reach the squeaky bum time part of qualifying, folks, when we reach the final 10 minutes, where the pressure will be on, mounting, and the drivers will be expected to enlist their faster lap times. And no less than this man, Marie Boyer, who now makes his way around this next right-hander. The Spaniard knows what's on the table. Gabriele Mini out in front of him at this point in time. We're coming up towards the 13th minute of qualifying. It's time to let it all hang loose as now Boyer heads up through towards Saint-Devote. And then he'll make the almighty climb up Beau Rivage out of turn 2 into turn 3, where he'll tackle Massenet and Casino. Of course, corners that we've seen on so many occasions throughout various single-seater competitions. Of course, running here for the first time last year in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. I do hope you've all enjoyed yourselves certainly this morning. It's been a pleasure to bring this action to you, of course. And I hope that you'll be cheering on the drivers that you'll be supporting this weekend. As we're now watching Marie Boyer make his way through the tunnel, down through towards turn 9. And the Spaniard has no doubt got heavy intentions on his mind to try and usurp that of Gabriele Mini. Of course, fastest here in qualifying at the moment for Group B, fastest in practice overall. And without a doubt, that's going to be the top of Boyar's list. Beganovic is also out on an outlap as well. We've also got Belinsky out on track. Plenty of cars now making their way out to begin their final runs. And this is going to be it. This is knuckle time now. Boyer currently owns the fastest Sector 1, Mini Sector 2, Boyer Sector 3. So it's a tie between the two. If Boyer can nestle in a faster Sector 2 time and maintain his pace in Sector 1 and Sector 3, he could be a shoo-in for top spot here in Group B, as we're now watching the almighty climb here of Beau Rivage in towards Massenet. And this is Dino Beganovic we're currently watching, making his way through the next right-hander, leading down into the descent towards this Massenet corner, Mirabeau corner, apologies, and currently sat just over half a tenth away from Gabriele Mini's time. The top 3 drivers all within a tenth of a second, well within a tenth in fact. Just goes to show how competitive it is here at the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. We've witnessed some great racing, and the championship has simply gone from strength to strength since its commencement in recent years. And to see it now reach the heights that it has done, witnessing some of the best talents you'll see coming up through the feeder series and looking to stake their claims for the future to come. No doubt these are going to be some names that we're going to be seeing in the not too distant future, as we're now watching them make their way through the chicanes here. And certainly this car now belonging to Dino Beganovic will be wanting to position itself right on top orders, currently sat in 3rd place. And the Swede will be looking to try and improve his prospects here, as you can see him warming up the tyres, getting ready for his fast run. And you can see there Saint-Devote, you can see just grazing the curb on the inset. As we now watch them make the almighty climb leading up towards the next left-hander at Massenet, down through Casino. Got a bit of a conglomerate making their way out to the Nouvelle chicane. And this is Gabriele Mini, our current leader here in qualifying for Group B, the Italian, who has already wowed people here today, wowed people in practice, as I said before. Fastest overall, a 30.221, as you can see from the graphic below. And Gabriele Mini, the Italian, will be looking no less to stake his claim, to position himself in an idyllic spot, ready for the start of racing action tomorrow. Be very special for him if he can land the fastest time of all here at Monaco. As I said before, racing here since 1929. Sensational. As now we can see the cars make their almighty climb up through Beau Rivage. Gabriele Mini being closely followed by the cars in behind, which does amount pressure, I believe, on drivers as well. And you can imagine that the cars behind, no doubt looking to benefit from a tow, will also suffer the consequences of a little bit of dirty air as well. Gabriele Mini already knocking off, just shaving some time off at this moment, so he is showing some improvements. And rounding through the next left and right. Boyer currently sat in second place within half a tenth of a second. And now Gabriele Mini making his way down through towards the tunnel, in towards turn 9. And looking to put ART up at the top, and I'm sure their team will be watching on, obviously with piercing looks up at the TV screens, watching Gabriele Mini as he now makes his way in towards the Tabac corner. Just seen that Noss has moved himself up to 14th. He's just been usurped now by Revez, who is in 13th. Gabriele Mini has just gone purple in sector 2 as well. Oh, a little flick there, a little bit twitchy, heading out of that chicane. He's now going to round the next right at Rascasse, and now in towards Anthony Nogues. Big opportunity now for Gabriele Mini. Can he improve on what he's already set of a 30.2? Comes up towards the line. Is it an improvement? It certainly is. A 30.110, a 130.110 places him or remains on top orders. We can already see that Bortoleto has gone 5th fastest as well, the Brazilian. Just over 0.2 of a second behind that of Gabriele Mini. So still time for him to find as well, but a fastest sector for Fornaroli in sector 1. As Tramnitz now moves into 10th fastest. We're now into the final, near enough 7 minutes of qualifying, and now the pressure is on. Boyer makes his way through the final couple of corners. Fornaroli has gone fastest of all in sector 2, stealing that privilege off Gabriele Mini, as Boyer now, he goes fastest of all, a 30.025. We're getting closer to that 29s mark, folks. And Marie Boyer with a vital move up into top spot, but Fornaroli, who's gone purple in sector 1 and 2. He has just landed green in sector 3 and goes second fastest. Barrichello moves 3rd fastest. That's Eduardo Barrichello, who's up into 3rd place. Gabriele Mini now reduced to 4th. And just look at that, 4 cars all within a 10th of a second, as now Sebastian Montoya goes 5th fastest as well. And now goes ahead of Beganovic, who's no doubt going to be looking to improve. Gabriele Mini has retaken his purple sector 2. Can he land himself back at top orders? This certainly looks like a quick time here for Gabriele Mini as he comes up towards the line, and it is a quick time, a 30.0, but we know they can go quicker. He sits himself quicker than Boyer by just under 0.02 of a second. Incredible effort from Gabriele Mini up at top orders, with Fornaroli in 3rd place. So have a look at that, half a tenth within the top 3 cars. The gap really is thinner than a fly's eyelash right now, with Gabriele Mini on top billing, Boyer in 2nd place, Fornaroli in 3rd, Barrichello currently sat in 4th, Montoya in 5th. And I tell you what a wonderful start for all of these drivers, as now we're watching them make their way through the Grand Hotel hairpin. We've got a bit of a string here making their way through. And as we're now watching on our screens, Gabriele Mini coming around turn 9. You'll have the Nouvelle chicane heading up next. Question is, will we see that those 29s come filtering in? The way it's going, we certainly will. I don't think we'll be waiting too long for it, as the tyres get warmer and warmer, and as the track gets warmer and warmer as well. The grip will increase, and we do have, I believe, a red flag has just popped up here. I'm just seeing here, we got yellow flag in sector 1. I'm not quite sure. We've got some flashing on our timing screens, and it is a red flag. Red flag here in qualifying, so the session will be stopped. So Gabriele Mini will retain that P1 spot, and there's the incident in question. Is Chen Yu Han and Monolite Racing, car number 24. The Chinese driver, unfortunately, finding himself into the steel barriers, and that is going to be the end of his session, and no doubt the end of the session altogether. Session stopped here at Monaco for Group B, and that is given Gabriele Mini. We didn't quite see the times filter into the 29s. Marie Boyer, of course, now in second place, but this is a great showing from ART, who currently sit in Ps1 and Ps2. So they're going to be delighted with how things have panned out for them. Fonaroli as well, down in third place, will be pleased with his performance for Trident Motorsport. A top 3 finish for Fonaroli and Trident, as we see Chen Yu Han now come over the barriers. Good to see he's okay. And the crane is coming in to lift it off the track. Here's the replay that we're watching. So this is heading into the next left. He just lost the rear heading around Massenet. And you head around very, very quick around that particular corner. And as you can see, just crunching into the barriers. And I suppose the only positive you can get from that is that the car ended up right next to the crane. So that's, if you're going to crash, I suppose that's the place to do it, I suppose, so they can lift the car off. But this does mean that the session has been stopped. As, we're now seeing Marie Boyer coming up through the... Oh, he did cut the chicane there as well. This is heading through the Virage Louis Chiron. And you just see there, twitch of the steering wheel, just could not quite hook the car around into that chicane, and it forced him to then cut it and then head back onto the track. But the car's now all positioned back into the pit lane. So red flag conditions, so any times that were being set during that red flag situation will not be counted into the classification. So the timing screen, as you're seeing it, folks, is how you're seeing it. Gabriele Mini still on top orders. As we're now seeing on our pictures Marie Boyer. And there's some conversations being had in the garage as they now watch on the screens. Obviously never nice to see a session stop, but we are getting an update from race control. The session will restart at 10:14. Nice wave there from the garage. Good to see everyone with smiling faces here at Monte Carlo as the teams get ready and the drivers get ready and prepared, ready for this session to restart. So we are going to get back underway here at Monaco, which is great to see. Of course, it's almost like a similar situation to what we saw in the Group A, in Group A's session, where of course we witnessed a restart as well of sorts. Yellow flags were waved at that particular point. But obviously under red flag conditions, the car's having to bail into the pit lane to get things back underway again. But we are getting confirmation that 10:14 local time is when the session will in fact restart. So we shouldn't have to wait too long to see the cars venture back out onto the track. So once again, the marshals doing a wonderful job in order to get racing, or qualifying certainly, back underway here. As now you hear the firing up of engines, and Gabriele Mini, still poised into the car, knows very well that these last few minutes are going to be absolutely vital and could be the difference maker between him starting on the front row or not. And I'd imagine they'll be looking to push into that 29's position, because they'll all want that advantage. Of course, heading into the start of the race tomorrow, that inside line heading in towards Saint-Devote. So a big opportunity for the Italian. Boyer there in second, Fonaroli in third as well. As we're now getting a view. Oh, very big moment there. That's Leonardo Fonaroli, the Italian, just losing the rear end slightly. And there's another view this time of a car losing it there as well. It's getting very tight and testy here at this moment. And certainly with it being the final moments of qualifying, we just saw there Roman Belinsky also trying to hang on to his car too. These young drivers obviously looking to stake their claims here in qualifying. You're going to be pushing every inch of the moment here in qualifying, with just 4 minutes now remaining. It's squeaky bum time, folks, here at Monte Carlo, as we now watch them head through the tunnel section. Gabriele Mini on top orders with Marie Boyer in second, Fonaroli in third place. And we have also got Eduardo Barrichello in fourth spot as well, with Sebastian Montoya in fifth. Beganovic, Dino Beganovic, our current championship leader, in sixth place at this moment. You can see the drivers there fighting for positions on the track already, looking to give themselves an opportune track position in order to unleash their fast lap times. And there we see the man on top of our timing sheets right now. Of course, Gabriele Mini in the back shot. There, in fact, is Marie Boyer, who's coming into the next right out of Rascasse and through Anthony Nogues. And it's now or never for these drivers, as now Boyer makes his way out of Anthony Nogues now and will send it down this long straight, leading in towards Saint-Devote at turn 1. Here we go. It truly is pedal to the metal at this point, folks, as now we can see Marie Boyer going full send around this next right-hander. Once again, grazing the curb on entry, and on exit, he'll send it at Beau Rivage, as he certainly does so. Heading around this next left at Massenet, and very shortly tackling Casino, where he'll take the deep descent down through towards Mirabeau. So here we go, and Boyer knows it's now or never, certainly with just under 2.5 minutes remaining here in qualifying. And here is the difference down below, within 200ths of a second, folks. That is the difference. It's absolutely minimal. These drivers flying so close to the wind at this point, literally giving absolutely everything here at Monte Carlo. As now we're seeing Boyer make his way around the next right at turn 9. He'll then take the descent in towards turn 10 at the Nouvelle chicane. Be looking to try and usurp that of Gabriele Mini, who's currently holding on to that top spot. The Italian impressing in both practice and now in qualifying as well. As now Boyer heads through the Tabac corner into the next chicane as well. Smooth as you like, as he's got another chicane, and this is where people have lost it, or plenty of drivers have lost it, should I say. Heading now up towards Rascasse. The next right-hander just braking, easing down, and then straight back onto the throttle as he now rounds in towards the final corner at Anthony Nogues. Now this is a big important moment here in qualifying, as now Marie Boyer, does he go faster again? No, he's going to go on another run this time. Beganovic though goes fastest of all now and does usurp that of Gabriele Mini. So now the championship leader is on top spot, as we now have a look at the live replay, or certainly the replay here of Marie Boyer, who's currently sat, as I said before now, he was 200ths behind that of Gabriele Mini. He's now just under 300ths behind Beganovic, who's now in P1, but I'd imagine that Beganovic should be delighted with that last-ditch effort at that point to take that P1 spot. And there you can see him on our camera shot, and he is showing improvements in Sector 1 as well. So Beganovic starting to unleash the beast now, our championship leader, leaving the best till last, no doubt, for Prema, as he now makes his way through the tunnel section at turn 9. Of course, we've yet to see Gabriele Mini yet. Of course, he's only 9,000ths of a second behind Beganovic at this point. The Italian, no doubt, will leave his best for last as well, as we're seeing Beganovic head through the next chicane at Nouvelle. And we're into the final 20 seconds now, folks. It is ticking down by the moment. Beganovic now heading up through the next left. He'll have another chicane, and he's finding another just under 4/10. Bortoleto is up into third place. The Brazilian is now finding a little bit of pace as well, and he's up in the mix of it too, is the R-Race GP. I've already seen Hadrian David go fastest of all in our first session in Group A, as now we're watching Beganovic come up towards the line. Gabriele Mini has gone fastest in 2 sectors, the first 2. Beganovic fastest in Sector 3 at 29.459. Sensational from Beganovic. Can Gabriele Mini pass him? No, he can't. Gabriele Mini just outside by 0.3 of a second. Incredible moment. Beganovic, where did that lap come from? A 1:29.459. That is a superior effort there from Dino Beganovic, the championship leader, who now sits top of the timing sheets within a 1:29.459. We've already seen Bortoleto go faster again. He's faster in Sector 1. Surely not more drama here at the end of qualifying here at Monaco, as now he makes his way around the next left-hander now. Huge moment for Bortoleto. Can he usurp that of Beganovic in P1? You've got Gabriele Mini in second place. Oh, he's lost a bit of time in the second sector. That is going to be so vital. Heading now through the final couple of bends now through Rascasse. He will have Anthony Nogues folks, coming up now shortly. Can he find it in the third sector? He's going full send, Bortoleto. Can he find anything to usurp Mini? And Beganovic coming out towards the line, the checkered flag. No, he can't. It's still a good time, though, at 29.786. But just over 3/10 slower than that of Beganovic. Finds himself as well 4 thousandths slower than Gabriele Mini. Just look at the deficits up at the top end. But Beganovic, wowee, we did not see that in practice, but we saw it here in qualifying. And just look at the Prema team, the smiles on the faces. Well, I tell you what, a standard day at the office, chaps? I'm not quite sure, but Beganovic, a 129.459. The Swede has done it, and he's celebrating, just waving right now, loving life. Well, well, well. Gabriele Bortoleto in third place, and Gabriele Mini in second place. Beganovic in P1, tackling that of Mini, who looked to have the pace into the weekend after practice. He's got second place, but just look at how he's hooked that up, and he's so pleased with it. He's delighted, is Beganovic. That's put him in a very good opportune position heading into the race tomorrow. The checkered flag, of course, across this track. But Beganovic, wowee, as he now enters the pit lane. No doubt his team are all going to be there waiting for him to revel in the celebrations. And you can hear them. Just look at everybody there in the pit lane, just waiting for Beganovic to make his way out the car. What an effort. A gargantuan effort. Gabriele Mini would have wondered what could have been, but still he can take solace in knowing that he is on top orders. Hadrian David there as well in the car, getting ready to go again. But wow, what a start. What an immense start there, certainly for Beganovic. An impressive lap time, and the Prema team, no doubt, absolutely chuffed with the result. Super effort, to say the least. And they'll all be pleased with the performance of their driver. All smiles, like I said, on the faces of many. The very busy pit lane here at Monaco. There's Hadrian David in the car. And incredible, absolutely brilliant start to the Monaco race weekend. We will take a look at the results now very, very shortly, as we now pan across and look at the scenes here at Monaco. It is Dino Beganovic, no question as to who's on top. Clear by just over 0.3 of a second of Gabriele Mini in second place, Gabriele Bortoleto in third, Marie Boyer in fourth, with Leonardo Fornaroli in fifth place, Eduardo Barrichello in sixth, Sami Megutunif in seventh, Sebastian Montoya in 8th, Tim Traminets in 9th, with Roman Belinsky in 10th, Victor Bernier in 11th, Owen Tangavelu in 12th, with Matthias Zagazeta in 13th, Axel Noss in 14th, Keith Donegan 15th, Levente Reves in 16th, Francisco Braschi in 17th, Lina Bula in 18th, and we of course lost Chen Yu Han earlier on after his incident heading around the rapid Massenet corner at what was turn 3. But I hope you all enjoyed that, folks. I certainly did. What a moment. No question as to who's on top of the timing sheets after that one. This man, Gabriele Bortoleto, could not quite do it on the day. It certainly did go to the man, Dino Beganovic, who would steal the show. But Gabriele Mini could only claim second place on this occasion, despite leading quite a major portion of this qualifying session. It was this man, though, with the clutch finale, a grandiose lap time. It was Dino Beganovic who would land top spot with a wonderful 129.459. And Prema Racing are going to enjoy that one. What a performance from the Swede. As we will be heading into the race weekend with certainly them on top. And what a way to start here as the green flags are now waved and the cars make their way out onto the circuit. But there's the replay there of the incident involving the Prema driver, Paul Aaron, who we lost earlier on as well. There's Kaz Havercourt, who of course was also leading the majority of our first Group A event. And this was the incident as well involving Santiago Ramos, which would lead to the yellow flag that we had in our first session. course, the drivers then came into the pit lane. Big moment there as well from Mika Belov. And then heading around this next right-hander, Hadrian David, of course, who would then utilize the speed in his car to then come across the line and take that P1 spot and snatch it away from Kaz Havercourt. And what an effort when they took the checkered flag, and the scenes here from his team, RAce GP, who come back after a successful year last year, and the celebrations erupted at this point. And then we saw Group B head out onto the track as well. All of them nose to tail in tandem. There, of course, is Keith Donegan, who locked up, heading up towards Turn 1 in the earlier stages of qualifying. Of course, the RP Motorsport car not having the best of times at the get-go. There, of course, we did see Gabriele Bortoleto making a mistake heading through the Nouvelle chicane. And then, of course, we saw the likes of Gabriele Mini doing the business as well. But what about this moment as well for Chen Yu Han, which would then, of course, lead to the red flag issue. This was, of course, the moment where Gabriele Bortoleto came up towards the line as well. But it wasn't enough to stop the likes of Beganovic. This is, of course, the moment where Gabriele Mini would register his car on top orders. And he headed through Raskas and then through Anthony Noakes. And despite leading a large portion of this qualifying session here for Group B, wasn't able to hold on to it because it was this man, the Swede, Dino Beganovic, who pulled off a rocket, a sensation of a lap time. As we now watch the cameras take him through Le Raskas in towards Anthony Noakes in his Prema car that has gifted him with a top of the championship order position. He came up towards the line and stole the show with a wonderful 129.459. And that certainly put the smiles on the faces of the Prema team once again, who have been so successful this season. It certainly has been a sensational qualifying session here at the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And of course, hopefully we won't see too many of those incidents heading into the race weekend. But nevertheless, it was Dino Beganovic who would land top orders and put himself on top billing in Group B. Of course, joining him up at the top end as well was none other than the RAce GP man of Hadrian David. So those two will be at the top. And folks, it's been a pleasure bringing you all the action here at the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Join us tomorrow where racing action will be underway, and it certainly will be pedal to the metal for the start of Monaco. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Do take care.